Hey, let me get everything ready. I'm on a laptop, so excuse those that are used to a different approach. December 27th. I'm welcome back to live streams on Wednesday nights. It's actually not dark because I'm in the United States of America, in Miami, visiting family. Sorry that last week I couldn't go live, be extremely busy with other stuff, prepping before the trip. And right now I just came from a lunch, and it's family time this time of the year, so it's hard to get time to do anything else but family. So I'm gonna have a few questions from Spain that he sent, I think 2 weeks back. Let me just check his questions. Give me a sec. Computer's taking some time. Okay. Spain was asking me, I had a workshop in Madrid, Spain last, like 2 weeks ago maybe. And he was wanting to know, what do I teach and what do I do? That was, I think, more of a personal question, but just in case anyone's curious, I teach workshops in large format, medium format, and stuff like that around Spain. I do it mostly to pay for my studio, but of course, any money is welcome towards helping with my photography or my gear, buying, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I do that, and I usually teach groups of 10 people. And I have a camera per person or per couple of people, and I have whole setups. So I have like 5 different 4x5 setups. I have 5 different medium format setups. And I teach everything from introduction basically to being able to shoot your own film and developing it. So it's like a day thing, and we learn theory, different lenses, different cameras, different systems, how to use it and all that. I want to take it into YouTube and make a series out of it. I've had it in my head for way too long, and 2018 is the time I'm going to start. So finally I will start doing that as of basically when I get back home. So yeah, there'll be a comprehensive, like say, workshop or playlist of 4x5 videos, medium format videos with my advice on different things of how I do it, how I think works best for me, and maybe it'll help some other people because there's a lot of new people in new large format. So yeah. Hey Leighton, just working on some Instagram images, sat in front of the computer, and YouTube gave me a notification. Nice to see you, Leighton. It's that time of the year that everyone's busy, so I don't expect a huge and busy live stream, but I didn't do it last week and I felt bad. I was out all day and got home again just before the live stream and I couldn't. So I'm here in sunny Florida, actually just about to rain, so we've been very lucky with that. Hi, Hogarth at work eating a sandwich, Sun and D on. Hello, Nico. Hi, guys. But yeah, so yeah, I do workshops. But if you ever guys have any questions, as always, you can ask me. I keep all my information open to everyone. I would never say, oh, you want to learn, come to my workshop. So yeah, anything you want. I do workshops because I think hands-on stuff makes it so much easier to learn. And I wish I could send gear to everyone that's watching so they could play around when I explain things. Because a lot of things come out when you're using it, and sometimes what I give, what I take for a given for someone might be totally new, and they might look at you like, what are you talking about? And that only happens when you're one-to-one or in a group teaching. So yeah, I try to teach like if I was teaching a kid that had no clue. But oh bueno. So that was Fane's questions. Then he was asking about buying a 4x5 camera. And he was asking why not monorail. Basically, I answered this email before. So my advice was monorail's awesome. I love them. They're the best cameras for so many reasons, but they're also the worst for so many others. If you can shoot with somewhere you can carry your camera easily, you can set it up easily, you have enough space in your camera closet, bag, or whatever, it's the best system. I use a CNR 4x5. It's a P2, which was the previous, like, let's say like the last one that was film only. Now they have the P3, which is kind of hybrid. Then, yeah, monorails are the best. Usually the movements are all independent. They do everything you can think of and more. They're great for studio, macro work, product work, architecture, but they're not a field camera. So if you want a field camera, don't get a monorail. A viewer here, Hal, has a monorail, even though he had Intrepid before, because he loves architecture. And he came to the conclusion monorail was the best, and he's there. But he's carrying his suitcase back and forth. Sun is ingredients from Southern California. Well, a nice sun. I'm here in Southern Florida. Layton says, going on to the beach tomorrow, had a 21 super angle on lens for my Leica R, so give it a run out tomorrow. I find those 21 lenses are awesome, but I'm not a big fan of wide angle lenses in 35. I don't know why landscape photography in 35 just doesn't suit my style, but I would love to see your results, Layton, so feel free to share them on Instagram and just tag me so I can see it, because I've been wanting to get a 21 for the Leica. I'm more of a, I think I would use it just to run behind the kids like I always do, but with a wider perspective. I have a 25, it's something like a point and shoot 25 lens by Voigtlander, and I use it because it's free focusing, you know, just hyperfocal and shoot anywhere. Holger says, Ben Horn has that amazing Arca Swiss. Yeah, Arca Swiss is probably the only camera that can fit the monorail and kind of field camera. But it is more of a monorail and the size of a monorail. So it's not as humongous as a CNR or a Horseman or a Cambo, but it's still pretty hefty. Ben Horn has all my respect in the sense of, I don't know how he carries all that gear, plus video gear, plus last trip I saw he was taking, how do you call those things? Like a dolly or a slider, a motorized slider into the field. I mean, you gotta be mental to do that. But yeah, his stuff is pretty amazing, work and video. Lots of respect for him. JKL says, is the Bronica GS1 a great camera for a person who needs AE, which auto exposure, and micro focusing screen? Okay, let me think about this. I have the GS1, I have the auto exposure prism, and micro focusing screen. I don't know what screen I have. Mine's pretty flat, and it has, I think, the half circle, split circle focusing, and it works really well. The AE works amazingly well. It does kind of tend to overexpose if there's any bright light in the scene. So bear in mind that you kind of want to know where you're shooting and where you're pointing to lock it. But I developed a roll the other day from a workshop where I shot the GS1 just for the fun of it. Took pictures of my students, and it worked really well, except for those overly, you know, backlit images where it tends to favor that light, of course. And I'm not used to using auto exposure, and it was a little darker on the subject. But yeah, it works great. It's a great camera, I think. And just be careful. And the first thing when you get it, if you do get it, tape down the multi-exposure tab, because it doesn't have a lock, and it's extremely easy to engage and do multi-exposures. So far, I've shot 3 to 4 rolls with that camera, and every single first picture in that in each roll has had 12 exposures on it. So yeah, it's a great camera. Just make sure you don't multi-expose unless you want it. Stuart says, you should meet up with large format photographer Spencer Pullen, who's in Florida. Yeah, I know. It's just I'm here for 2 weeks, and he's off the West Coast. I think he's close to Naples, and I really can't move much with family. I'm supposedly going to meet with some people tomorrow and shoot a bit around Miami. We'll try to do a little video vlog and whatnot, but I can't assure there'll be much. I brought all my video gear, guys. I mean, I have the Sony cage and everything. I've been practicing because I want to start shooting in different conditions and techniques. I have my screen and everything and point and shoot, all of it, and I haven't done much. So yeah. And if you guys are wondering what I brought, as Sun is asking, Olympus Stylus Epic. I brought this for my trip. It's the Olympus MJU or Stylus Epic here in the States, version 2. It's the 35 2.8, and I like it. It's very simple to use. It works really well. It's an all-weather camera, so I guess it can kind of sprinkle or haze rain or stuff like that. I have some gaffer tape on the back because the sticker here fell and I don't trust light not leaking. And it has like a problem with the numbers where you can't see them. I don't know if you guys can see them, but you got to press the screen to see the numbers. But it works great. I paid like 15, no, I'm lying. I paid like 20, 30 bucks for this one. I know they're like up to 200 right now. I wouldn't pay 200 for it. I would pay 50. So keep on looking and finding. I had the first version, it worked great. And I'm shooting Color Plus 200, which is cheap color film, just for memories of the kids and stuff like that. I just shot a bunch in a Nordstrom, just so you can get an idea of my style of photography during a trip with family. Hey Hal, nice to see you, all the way from Canada. I was just talking about you a second, so you might want to rewind and listen. Mine is the limited edition one in burgundy. Found it for $3.99 at a thrift store. Works great. Exactly. That's the kind of deal you want to get. If you're going to pay $200 or $300, I would choose different camera. I mean, point and shoot style. You've got a bunch of cheap cameras that you can still get that are not in how do you say, fashion at this very moment. Also brought the Leica M2 with a 35 f2 Summicron, and problem was I thought I had film at the studio. Happens to be I had no film. I only had 2 rolls. So I have been taking limited pictures with this camera because I need to buy film, and it's been the holidays, and the photography store is down I-95, a little too far for me to just run quickly and get it. And the Leica store was closed when I could the other day, so I'll buy some film as soon as possible. This is what I'll probably shoot tomorrow if I meet up and do a little vlog of shooting some film through Miami. Won't be that interesting because, I mean, I'm just taking 35 shots and I'm a terrible street photographer, but I'll try to do my best. Leighton says, I cannot believe the price of those compacts. They're a bubble which will burst at some point. Yeah, the price of point and shoots has gone up crazy in the last few years. I don't know if it'll burst or not. I feel like everyone's pushing more and more towards those brands and those names, and there's more people behind wanting to shoot and buy them. So as long as there's people buying them for $3.99, selling them at $200, it's not going to burst. I refuse to sell it at $200, even if someone wanted to buy it. The last one I had, I gave away on a giveaway on Instagram. Previous to that, I had a version 1 that I gave away to an old man that only shot film and his camera was broken. He had the Zoom version. This one I might keep, but if I ever do get rid of it, I'll just give it away or sell it for $5. I think I think we should try to keep that vibe between film photographers. I'm not a big fan of the camera flipping in the industry. I understand that people find deals and make a living out of it, and that's awesome. But if I find a deal, I'll try to push that deal to the next person. So yeah, I won't buy this for $2.99 and sell it for $200, that's for sure. I'd rather keep it and use it, or give it to my kids, or give it to someone that really needs it, not just sell it for profit and buy more film. That's what I won't do. I'm sorry. Leighton, a lot of younger people are into film right now. I mean, even some cheap point and shoots are going up to 50. Yeah, that's how it is. And Sun was, you're right, Leighton. I can't believe Olympus point and shoot cameras cost 200 or more. Hogger says the reason I think the bubble won't burst this on them is because the supply is limited. Yeah, it's exactly. And Hogger says he gave away his MJU, his last MJU. I did the same. Leighton says, how I know, and it's great they are using, but seriously, are they really not good or reliable? I mean, I won't say they're amazing, but they're pretty fun to use. I like the idea of having a camera that you can't really do much but choose flash or no flash. I'm telling you, I just came from having lunch and I shot a few shots in the lift and I think up the mechanical escalator and stuff like that. I just shoot like details. I like shooting details in color. I think it's pretty fun. The bubble will burst when someone releases a new compact, either Japan Camera Hunter or another company. Yeah, I think it'll burst, but I don't know if it'll burst thanks to that. I mean, yes, Bellamy will probably end up making a product and someone else will probably make it, but it won't be the same. I think there will always be a bubble for these old plastic cameras, but we'll see. I mean, if I find a deal, I get it, but I'm not searching like some people are searching like crazy to flip the price. Hogger says, and then I was just given a Konica Bic Mini. Those are pretty fun. I've never used one, but I've always wanted to have a test on it. My problem is between I shoot and I develop and I print, I forget if it was shot on an Olympus or on anything else. I have to shoot purposely and remember that. For that, I have color on the Olympus and black and white on the Leica. Hi, Jacob, and everyone. Hogger says the only reason I could see the bubble bursting if so many are people put off because they're breaking. Yeah, but that's happening with a Contact 645. I remember, I don't know how long ago, when I bought my first Mamiya 7, I got offered a Contact 645 with an 80 millimeters out of focus f2 Zeiss lens for 1,000 euros, and then I was like, I'm not paying that much money for that camera. It's electronic, it might break, even though I did buy the Mamiya 7. And today you see them for 4 or 5 grand, and people are buying them. So the bubble keeps growing, and they're cameras that when they break, unless you are extremely lucky, they're dead. Sun says, I guess certain point and shoots are on inflation run right now. Yeah. I just also remember anytime someone on YouTube or social media that's influential comes out with one of these and shoots with it, prices go crazy. It happened to the Contacts T2 and T3. They were always good cameras, but I bought my Contacts T3 for 400 euros and sold it for 400 a few years later, and now it's over $1,000 easily. So I don't know, it's just a tendency we're seeing. But then some brands and some cameras are going lower than ever, and I love buying those cheaper cameras that no one has love for, like the Mamiya RZ and Mamiya RB. If I could, I should. I got one, but it never got shipped, so got my money back. JKL says, can you make a video about the Reflex camera? I will make a video on the Reflex camera. I did not back the project. I'm a big, proud user of Kickstarter, but I kind of go for projects that I think either need a little extra love and care or excite me extremely, but extremely. And they usually always go for the cheaper Kickstarters. I'm sorry, I don't know why, but if I'm going to pay 500 euros for a camera, whatever they offer and whatever they say they're going to offer and how awesome it might be, I don't know, I can't get myself to do it. And I usually just end up buying something used for that price. Doesn't mean I don't support them, but I don't support them with the money. Especially Kickstarter always feels like you might not get your product. I got the travel wide as an option on Kickstarter. I back books, I back projects and stuff like that, but not always the Reflex. I will try to get my hands on one, and they're in London, so I'll try to fly over and help them out. I did reach out to them and I got no response, but I'm sure they're overwhelmed with the campaign and working, and I'm sure one day we'll get to talk to each other and figure out something. Yeah, Hogger, sorry, you cannot structure sentences. And I just had lunch and I'm a little sleepy. I should have a little cortadito here in Miami. Surreal Boy, the best cameras are the ones which are mechanic and not electronic. That's the key. No, yeah, I'm with you, Surreal Boy. But some of my electronic cameras are my favorite, like the Mamiya RZ. I just can't get away from that camera. M Works. Anything worth buying cheaper in Miami, such as film? Anything worth buying in Miami? I would have to answer no. The good thing about Miami is, as I'm in Florida, if I buy from a store out of the state, I have no taxes. So I bought film from B&H because they had the film I wanted in stock. I checked other stores and they didn't. And shipping's free and tax-free. So that's a pretty good one. And they did not have Portra 160 and 4x5 in stock, so I got it from the Film Photography Podcast, which is a project that I love and support when I can. And I think it's the first time I've used them because I live in Europe and it's not so easy to ship stuff over there. But yeah, my package is on its way, and I'm pretty excited that they're sending it themselves and not from some other store, because I do know Matt Mirage, and I'm a big fan of the team over at Film Photography Podcast. So yeah, but yeah, that's about it. If you're in Miami, no, nothing's really cheap if you're buying it here. And that answers Jacob's question. Where are you located tonight? Is the daylight outside of your window? I'm in Miami, Florida right now, and it's 3:23 p.m. here. It's just I keep that schedule of 9 o'clock Spain time, which is a pretty okay time for me here in Miami when I come. And most of the world is kind of on the schedule I'm on. Let's see, Leighton. Oh, I saw you got it. Sorry, I'm a slow reader. Leighton, I backed the Reflex for a wrist strap just to support them. I need the Leica R mount as I have so much quite bit of R glass now. Yeah, no, I didn't back them in any level. I should have, I guess. But I end up having so many projects and so many zines. Lately, I've been into a zine spree of buying. I bought a few magazines, film-related, zines from friends and people I know, and I end up adding how much I spend on that, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I should, you know, not back every single zine I see. But I kind of have a thing for zines, and now that I have the studio, I have a library, and I want to have a nice library for people to see. So if you ever are in Spain and want to shoot film, develop film, or read a zine, you can come to my studio. Sun says Canon FTB or Minolta SRT series are good mechanical cameras. I have the Canon EF. Never used the FTB or the Minolta, but I'll give it a look. I do have a lot of of Canon FD glass, so I should give it a try. By Hogarth, he's getting back to work. Probably already not here. And he just got the Hasselblad 501C, the lens, last night, and he just wants to share that. Let me see. Stuart erased the message. Hope everything's okay, Stuart. I want a Minolta MD mount if I did back the Reflex camera project. Yeah, I thought the stretch goal they did achieve was a Minolta mount. I didn't see that. Surreal Boy says, Nico, I recently discovered that Basque Country is an awesome place for shooting surf photography. Yeah, surf photography where I live is huge. And by huge, I mean the World Series has a stop there every now and then. We have a big wave contest just in my own town, just there, basically off my parents' house. You have Mundaka, which is the longest left in Europe, or at least that's what they used to say. And I go to a gym that's taken care of by a surfer, and I've got some of the best surfers training there. Extremely nice people. I've never gotten myself into surfing because I don't like the vibe in the water, all that whole, like, you know, my wave, your wave, and all that, but it is awesome. I've always wanted to get my Nikonos and get in the water and shoot black and white surf photography, but I might get punched if I get too close or something like that. And I don't want to hit anyone with my Nikonos camera. Layton's checking out if the MD mount is something that happened at Reflex. PJ De Jesus, how's Miami? Miami's awesome. The weather's great. You can go out in the street and not boil. It's been great. Lots of family, lots of food, which is always good. This is the time of the year for that. So that's why I've been busy. I haven't done the news, even though I said I would. I had 3 videos planned off schedule, and there were things I bought to make a video, and those 3 things have been postponed by shipping pretty much till I leave. I'm not going to cancel them because I think that's not, like, I don't know. I think it's not the nice thing to do. But I will make those videos whenever I get them. But they were pretty fun videos, I have to say. I was excited for some giggles and laughs here on holidays, but I'll get some videos out as soon as possible. QNext says, have you shot much Fujifilm Acros Neopan 100? If so, what's your preferred developer for it? I have shot some Acros. I only use one developer, and I'm happy with it, and it's Kodak HC110. You guys probably are sick of hearing that because that's all I use. But I've never been one to choose back and forth what to use and what not to use. I want to test more developers just for the sake of YouTube and stuff like that. But so far, it's worked great with that on B as A, B, C. So B, develop Delusion, and it works great. The Barbas, where are you? I'm in Miami, Florida right now. Jacob says, I'm not sure why I've asked this question before, but would be your recommendation for an enlarger up to 4x5 with an option to extend it later with Hayland multigrade system? What would be the recommendation for the enlarger? I have to say the 4x5, I've only seen and used three or four different ones. I guess that's a lot. The Devere or Devere enlargers are awesome. That's mine. I have an 8x10 of that, and it's great. I've seen the LPL, I think it's 7441 or 74551, something like that. I'm horrible at names. Also, I've seen the Omega, or yeah, Chromega D5, D6, something like that too. If I had to choose one, I think the Durst Laborator or Laborator, I don't know how you say it. It's Italian, German, Italian, somewhere there. So the Durst would be one of my favorites. I've seen it in person. It's in my studio, and it's awesome. And the Devere or Devere is also awesome. And Hayland is amazing. I actually, I don't know how you say it, distribute them in Spain, even though there's not much of a market for it. And I'm wanting to get one for 4x5, but I don't have one. Not in the studio. I have a 4x5 from a colleague, and I might get a 4x5 system, form them as a split grade and LED light source, and then I'll make some reviews on that. But yeah, it works great. Let's see, PG De Jesus. What are my New Year's resolutions? My New Year's resolutions. I'm not a big New Year's guy. my idea is to keep more organized, and I want to do all those series of videos that I talk to you guys all the time. I have so many ideas that I want to make and so little time. So my resolution, I guess, would be making more videos than my usual news, live stream videos. I want to do in-depth reviews of gear. I want to make first-hand impressions of cameras, the stuff that goes through my hands. I'm lucky enough, or extremely lucky, that I have a lot of good friends in the film photography world, and I get to use and loans for everything that I've thought of and more. So I want to make that. But mostly my New Year's is that, do more, do it better. I want to learn how to edit my videos better. I want to learn how to implement music better. I want to take my time to do that and use my studio all I can. That's my New Year's. Just do better, do more, and use what I have a lot more. Let's see. Jacob says, Ilford DDX is my choice for Acros. And PJ de Jesus says, whoa, guys, there's so much I'm not reading. I use Ilfosol for 3.4 Neopan. Layton's back to like it was a 150% goal. I didn't quite make it. Check their Kickstarter page. I cannot link directly to it. Thanks for the. I remember they might try an FD mount. If they do an FD, it'd be nice. Stuart says, Labbox Daylight Development Tank Kickstarter. Thoughts? Labbox is a project that raised a ton of money for a system to develop your film that I find, I don't want to be harsh on it, but I find it obsolete before it comes out. It was the Rondenax. It didn't work. Some people love it, some people don't like it. They have implemented some changes, the temperature control, little program stuff, but the idea of you want to take your developing outside into the park is just an insult to everyone's intellect. I understand there's a campaign behind it, but I mean, come on, guys. Like, who develops their film in the park? Who travels with their chemistry in their backpack and goes like, oh, they'll just develop here? I like the idea that it opens the darkroom to everyone without a darkroom. But honestly, a changing bag and a normal tank do exactly the same job. And yeah, not that I don't dislike it. I just find it redundant and not necessary. But I guess a lot of people liked it. But I will get one probably to review it. But I'll give it away or something like that. Layton says that the mount is one of the initial ones. The bottom was, I was thinking to buy a scanner like the V600. Do you recommend that one or another? I don't want to spend a fortune here in Portugal. The Epson 600 is 230. The bottom was, go for the 500. I think it's cheaper and it does exactly the same stuff. And that's what a friend uses. The V500 can be bought in Europe for around 100-ish euros. So don't go for more than that. If not, check the Epson 4990. That's 4990. And that's exactly the same one as the V700, just an older model, and it works great. Sun says, cool, I asked Minolta MD because I personally have lots of Minolta MD glass. Layton says, of course, that makes a lot of sense. Exactly. How can I get a good, cheap enlarger? That's, how could I say it? It's a matter of luck, basically. I have gotten amazing enlargers in my life. I've overpaid for them. I've underpaid for some others. And the best thing is to contact everyone you can think of that uses a darkroom. Say you're interested, check Craigslist or whatever could be around your area, eBay, garage sales, photo associations, photo groups, photo stores, and say what you're looking for. Ask them, go to studios, photography studios, just knock on doors. Most people will end up giving it to you for free because most of those enlargers are big and bulky and nobody can sell them or it doesn't bear to ship them. The biggest problem with enlargers and people selling them is usually they don't want to ship it. So you might get lucky and buy a bargain because no one wants to ship it. Hao says, I want to do long exposure in daylight. Will the aperture handle the sun in a long period of time? I'm afraid the sun will melt the aperture. Well, that's a hard one to say. I don't know. I've never done long exposure in daylight. I think you should be fine. But if you're gonna have a really strong sun and it's hot outside, you might get some problem. I would say use a filter to achieve that long exposure. Remember, most filters that are neutral density have a slight tint to them. So do black and white and you won't have a problem. But I can't tell you, I can't help you how with that. Kyle says, I have had good luck with Adox F39 and TMX Delta for across grain family of film. There you go. PG the Jesus, the thing about the lab box is the chemicals aren't available everywhere. What do you mean by that, PG the Jesus? Leighton, Nico is so right about the lab box. I agree 100%. It's just that. I'm amazed that 629,000 euros were made for that project. I'm at the same time as I'm happy about it, I'm also sad because that amount of money could have gone towards a project, I don't know, like New 55, that was pushing new boundaries on instant film with a new film, new emotions, new techniques. They had a project for pack film. They had a working product already. There was people using it. Of course, there was people that were unhappy with the price point, but the more they would have sold and made, the better the price would have been. And I can't change what has happened with Kickstarters, but yeah, I kind of wish all that money would have gone to something else. And the lab box is awesome, but I find it not necessary. And that's 626,000 euros that go towards a product that I feel like it's going to end up being on eBay for like 20 bucks. I don't know. I just have that feeling. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. Let's see. The Barba says, thanks. Nick says, 10 stop ND filter. There you go, 10 stop. Leighton says, the lens in an enlarger is the important thing. Get a good lens and use Ilford under the lens contrast filters. That is important. You need a good lens. Sun says, I agree. Nico is right. I heard about lab box, but I've already invested into tanks, changing bag chemicals instead of buying a dark box to develop on the go when supply is low. I don't know. I'm in Miami right now, and yeah, if I would have brought a lab box, I would have developed here maybe, but I can go back home and develop when I'm home. A lot of photographers use Patterson tanks when they travel. You just go into a bathroom and you change it at night, or into a wardrobe. I got a wardrobe behind me that's dark at night, and I have a bathroom that's dark. If you put, close the shades, that's all you need. And we'll see what happens. The Barba says, what is an enlarger? I hear a lot, but I don't know what it is. An enlarger is basically a machine that will help you put your negatives inside that machine. It'll project light onto a surface where you can put paper or sensitive material, light sensitive material, and develop. So basically you get your negatives and you enlarge it onto negative paper, photography paper, and make a positive. So negative and negative will give you a positive, and you have a darkroom positive. And it's called enlarger because you go from small to big. It projects and makes bigger enlargements. Even though you can minimize, you can go from big to small too. But that's for another day in another video. Like only a few places would actually sell developer stop bath and fixer. Yeah, very little places. You're right. That's PJ the Jesus. Leighton says the lab box is okay until something goes wrong, and it will. I'm not so sure, but I guess it could be like that. I hope nothing goes wrong for those people that bought that. I just don't want people to buy the lab box thinking that's the prize, thing they were looking for, and they got it, and then they feel defeated or sad that they can't make it work, and then end up quitting film photography altogether. That's something I find, like, film photography is already hard enough, and I quote that hard because I mean I don't think it's that hard, but yeah, it's hard enough in the means of like finding the chemicals, finding the film. Like in Miami, I got to go to 2 stores that you got to really know where they are to buy film, and you have to have kind of a lot of will to shoot because of price and availability and stuff. And any chance you're starting and it's all a huge blur, and you buy this lab box or any other item that's been promising you, you know, that thing that you really thought was awesome, and then that turns you down, you're gonna pretty much quit. Not everyone, but most people will quit film photography. We'll go to something else. We'll buy a drone or we'll buy a selfie stick or anything like that, and that was it. Their one chance to shoot film and become happy film users is gone thanks to a maybe not so perfect product as they thought, and that's what gives me mixed feelings. Let me see. PJ De Jesus, I am also not too sure if you can fly with photochemicals. No, you cannot fly with photochemicals. Sun says, no kidding, better to develop at home than to make a fool out of yourself to develop on the go in public. Hi, Evian. Leighton says, what is harder, loading a Patterson tank in the dark or learning Photoshop? I'll just get my coat. I have a problem with Photoshop too, Leighton. I'm terrible. Today is the first time I've learned how to color grade on video, and that was basically using a patch. So yeah, it's taken me 3 years on YouTube to learn how to apply color corrections to my videos, and I'm extremely proud. But yeah, that took me some time. And there's a million videos on color grading videos and stuff. I just can't understand them. But yeah, I've learned, I think, today. Auntie, I've been thinking of trying the new 55 developer. What is your take? Anthony, my take on the new 55 developer is it's better than most people are saying about it. The only video I think that's out there, or one of the only ones, is Matt Day with the first version, which was R3. They're already on the R5 and supposedly have made it so much better. I'm being told by New 55, even though they've kind of ceased operations, that they have a new developer ready, and I don't know if they'll be coming out with it soon or not at all. But I think it'll be pretty cool, and I've been promised, or I won't say promised, that's a pretty strong word, but I've been told that I would get to use the new version as soon as it was available, and I'll make a review on it. I mean, not a huge fan of the mono developer or monobath developing system, but I'll give it a try. I think it's a pretty cool thing that you can do that all in one. I think for workshops and stuff like that, it would be fun to show how it can be done in one go. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, but I think the whole 3-step developing is great. Develop, stop, fix, and wash. But yeah, we'll see. Kyle says, Stearman Press 445 tank has made a 4x5 sheet development a breeze. 4 sheets in a 500 milliliter solution. Yeah, the Stearman Press is a great little invention. I didn't back it, and I do want to get one. A friend of mine that uses my Darkroom has it, and I want to use it and give my opinion on it. But they just came out with an Indiegogo campaign for a little drying rack and like a little tray for it, and that's pretty cool. PJ De Jesus, new 55 is defunct. I can't really say. Go to the new 55 on Facebook and read a little bit. They kind of say, or I haven't gone straight up like a new 55 is dead. I haven't gotten that answer. And especially talking to them as a team, because I have some communication with them. They've been extremely helpful to me with the channel support, in the sense of moral support. And I was supposed to be flying to New 55 like today to do a video series that I'm trying to do, but they were not going to be there, and that had to got canceled. So they're not defunct, but they are, let's say, they're taking a holiday, I would say. But hopefully they'll be back stronger than ever and with more future projects and products. Sun says, I have a Patterson Super System 4 tanks. One is the tall that can hold 535 reels and the other 2 reels. I don't use Patterson because I'm not a Patterson user. I started with color very early on and started with Jobo, but Patterson has a huge name in the industry and I think it works great. Evian, have you had any time to print some 4x5 or 8x10 in the new Darkroom? No. I have not had time to print. I have had time to develop, which is what I'm trying to catch on. I've developed 4x5, 8x10, not our 8x10s. Ebian visited me, well, I think last summer, yeah, and we shot some 8x10s throughout some of his projects, and I haven't had time to develop that. That's why I'm developing, because I have a long line of film waiting. Larry says, Nico, unless I've missed it, do you have any plans on square format composition? I tend not to use my Hasselblad as much as I should because of composition issues. I haven't really planned anything on square composition. I kind of usually never reframe my shots, and I leave my frames as what I shot. I do have a lot of square shots, and I have printed them in squares. I kind of like portraits in squares. I have some close-ups of my daughters in squares. I do enjoy having a close-up camera, and for that, the Reflex SL66 works great. The only problem is the one I have that is not working so well, but I do want to do some square format videos and shooting and printing and stuff, so I will be doing some of that. But time will say. I can't say much more. Layton says, careful with tall tanks. The bottom reel gets more time than the top. I use the 2-reel tank, but I'm a 35 mil only. Oh, never heard of that. I guess it's right, because you have the long tank. Maybe if you turn it like a Jobo, it'll work. Thanks, Layton, that's Sun, for the advice. I only plan on using my smaller tank. I doubt the tall tank could barely fit in my changing bag. Yeah, that's a problem with big tanks. I have the Jobo huge tanks, the expert ones, and there's no changing bag that can do that. I have the tent from Harrison's, and it doesn't work so well with that. It's hard to use a humongous tank. I use it in the darkroom though. It's fine in the darkroom. Besides, Sun says, I got the small tank, the tall tank as a gift from a friend. Well, there you go. Let me see. I have some questions from Spain. He was asking, let's say the end result is an 8x10 print, printed on the large format negative. I have 2 realistic options. Buy a 4x5 condenser for my enlarger with a lens meant for 4x5. Buy, or option B, buy an 8x10 contact print frame and buy a transparency inkjet film, print an 8x10 negative for my 4x5 scan and contact print it. The option to buy an 8x10 camera is non-existing. I'm a big fan of doing it on the enlarger properly, not the whole like negative printed on an inkjet. I don't know how that would look. You have to have a very high resolving printer that you won't see the little dots. I think you're better off getting a 4x5 head or condenser for your enlarger and a 4x5 lens. You can get, if you want to get something cheap, a 150 lenses, 135 from Schneider, the Claron. Those are spelled C-L-A-R-O-N. Are amazing lenses for large format and for enlargers for a very inexpensive price. That was to answer Spain, who sent me an email like 2 weeks ago. Sorry, Spain, that I've been busy and haven't done a live stream. Kyle says, Nico, I was able to purchase 2 boxes of Ilford Harman direct positive fiber-based paper. That's a long name. For some in-camera exposure experiments. Very contrasty but nice if pre-flashed. Yeah, I've never used the direct positive, but I really want to try it out. And I know the pre-flashing works good, and I have to get myself into it. This trip is the first time I bought 11x14 proper film. And another thing I wanted to get for that was 11x14 direct positive. I hope to be able to buy some soon. PJ de Jesus, have you ever shot Fujifilm Astia? PJ de Jesus, it was my favorite Fujifilm slide film ever for skin tones. It was probably the most natural looking film. I've never been a big fan of Provia, never a big fan of Velvia 50 or 100. It was all about Astia to me. It was an amazing film. One day, maybe I'll do one of those series like Matt Day's doing the archives video of Astia shots that I used to shoot, because I have, I don't know, hundreds probably of rolls shot of Astia. I loved it. Whatever you get nowadays will probably be expired in 2009, the latest. But hopefully you can find some that's well preserved. Evian says, how do I get rid of gas for 4x5 without buying a 4x5? Evian, you can start by looking into the price of 4x5 film, even though film is pretty inexpensive. You can look at the price of 4x5 enlargers if you want to go the enlarger route. But the best way to get rid of gas for a 4x5 is just getting a 4x5. Get Reflex with a lens and shoot along. It's so much fun. Or get married, like Lathan said. I have to say I'm extremely lucky. My wife supports all I do, so I never had an issue. Maybe not never, but I've been very lucky in terms of comprehensive wife with my photography. Kyle says, again, available again soon at B&H, about ISO 3, just pre-flash in camera and white sheet on paper over lens. Oh, never thought about that. I will have to try it out. I won't be in the States long enough to get the B&H, but I'll try to get it in Europe as soon as I'm there. I will be getting a few little things when I get back home. And I just got a pretty large quantity of film shipping from B&H right now, mostly for workshops, because workshops are something that are working out for me in Spain, and also some for just series I want to do and stuff. But there's some 4x5 FP100C, 11x14, a new Pelican case, which, yeah, I want to. It was extremely sad to see the Pelican case I used to travel, which is behind me on the floor, got discontinued as is, and now there's a new version that is, first, more expensive, and second, I don't like the color. So we'll see how it comes. It's just for flying for the documentaries and stuff. It's very useful to carry all the video gear, photography gear, and such. But yeah, there's around 5 more minutes, guys. Let me know if you have any more doubts. As always, you can always write me or find me online, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, and I'll try to help you out. But yeah, so far that's about it. About my trusty little light meter. A lot of people ask me about light meters. This is the light meter I recommend to like probably 95% of the people that shoot film. It's the Sekonic 308. You can look it up. Don't pay more than around 100 to 120 euros or dollars for it. They're extremely nice. They use for flash. It works for incident and reflected meterings. Uses one AA battery that lasts like 2 years, and it fits on your back pocket, on jeans and anything like that. And I sit down on it, never broken. But yeah, and that wasn't a paid promotion. I love it. Evian says, gotta devere Devere 504, I can use so I'm tempted. Temptation is real, although I'll have to win the lottery to afford to shoot Portra. MBN, don't buy Portra, just shoot black and white, and that's it, and you'll be okay. PJ de Jesus, well, I got a roll of Astia, Ectochrome VS, and Ectar, which all sat in a freezer as part of a gift exchange, Emulsive Santa's 2017. Well, you're gonna love Astia. Jacob, have you ever visited Red Dot in Miami? The Leica store in Miami, I have visited. They're very nice people. I actually interviewed them this summer, not the one before probably. And I should probably post that video, even though it's like 18 months old. We had a great interview, talked about film photography and their projects and how to support the community. They're extremely nice here. They do like gallery openings and they have conferences and they're free to everyone. They have free beer and everything. So I'm a big fan of what they're doing in the store here. Most of the news that come from Leica or Leica come from them before anyone else. So they do a great job at communications. Their website works great and the staff is friendly. There's like Noctilux you can just grab and put on your camera and walk out to test. So extremely nice people. Sadly, I think I've never purchased anything there because I've never been able to afford anything brand new there. But I wouldn't doubt it if I had the money. Kyle says, I know you've tried carbon printing. Have you tried platinum palladium contact printing? I only have 4x5, but I'm considering trying the digital negative option on my Epson 2200 printer. I can't afford larger formats for contact prints, but I want to try. Kyle, I haven't tried platinum yet, but I do have, and I've said it before, I think a good friend that in where I live in Spain does it. And my plan is to not only learn, but document what I learned to share here. I want to do platinum prints as part of my own work. And I plan on doing platinum prints as part of maybe Kickstarter rewards or sale prints and stuff like that to fund the channel, fund projects and stuff like that. So yeah, that will be done, but I haven't done it. The guy that does it where I live shoots film, scans, and then prints larger surfaces and prints with I would say inner negatives, but they're, you know, printed negatives. So yeah, that should be happening soon-ish, I guess. Sun says, all right, Nico, it was nice to meet and talk with you. I have to get ready to flight lessons very soon within an hour. See you soon. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, son. And very jealous of flight lessons. I would love to learn how to fly. Kyle says, fantastic. We're looking forward to seeing the video. It will be out sometime. I can't say when because it depends on me and this other guy and me learning and not screwing up a lot of expensive chemistry. Cantrell, good day, sir. How long can I store C41 chemicals before they go bad? I'm planning on developing with Patterson tanks. Jacob, thanks. I am having a great time here in Florida. I'll see you guys again. Cantrell project, C41 chemicals. It says it on the instructions, but I have a feeling if kept in a fridge, they last like around, I think it's 6 weeks, maybe more. I don't have the little pamphlet, but write me through Instagram, and when I'm back in the lab, I'll check it out. But if you look on Tetanol, they should have the amount of time they last. But I think it's around 6 to 8 weeks, probably, once mixed. But yeah, Happy New Year, JKL. And yeah, guys, how many countries have you visited? Many. PJ, it's a good question. I never counted them, but I've done a few countries. I've traveled a fair amount. I really can't complain about traveling. Be very lucky. Traveled to New Zealand. I've traveled to, that's about it in Asia or around there. But Europe a lot. The States, never done Mexico or Canada. I've only done the United States of America many times because my family is here, half of it. But yeah. Well, guys, it's 4 p.m., which is 10 p.m. in Spain. Time for me to go. keep on jumping in the pool and stuff. Enjoy the holidays, enjoy New Year's, and I'll be back in 2018 with a lot more stuff. Thank you for being here again, and have a nice day. One last thing, because the Badwas wrote, I found Portra 400 VC per €5 per roll. Expired date is 2017. Should I buy? I loved it, man. I would buy it. Buy it, shoot it at 200. You'll be good. But yeah, thanks, guys, and enjoy your holidays. Let me see, how do I get out of here? But yeah, thanks, guys. Happy New Year's. Bye.